Welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I am, of course, your host, the Natty Teacher. Today, we got a hamstring and glute bias workout. Now, I got to get moving a little bit here. I don't want to say I overslept, but I kind of intentionally slept in a little bit. Just kind of was lacking in the sleep department the last couple days. Not bad, but just I wanted to get a little more sleep. So I'm glad I did. I slept like an absolute rock. So that was really nice. So that does put us at I don't want to say a huge time crunch for today, but does give us a little bit of a time crunch today for our training. So we're going to get into the gym and we're going to be out of there by about 9 o'clock. And right now it is just a few minutes after 7:30, a couple minutes away from the gym. So we'll have about an hour and 20 minutes to get in there, warmed up, and get ready to rock and roll. And then complete the workout, of course. So keeping everything pretty simple. You guys know the drill, man. 2 to 3 working sets. If you ever wonder why I do 2 to 3 working sets, well, it's actually very simple. I have a very simple concept for this. I was the epitome of the 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps for years, or even like 6 to 12. For years, I was that guy, no doubt. Okay, top set, first set would be 12 reps with a medium weight or like light medium weight. Second set would be 10 reps, and then 8 reps, and then 6 reps. I was the epitome of that guy for a long, long time. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that as long as you're getting progress from it and the intensity is there. And I was for a long time, okay? But then I found that when I did a little bit less at the beginning, didn't pre-exhaust as much, I could not only use heavier weights for the most part, but the connection I could have with those heavier weights was far, far, far superior compared to when I would do 3 sets and then I'd be finally on my 4th set using the heaviest weight. Now I flip it. I do it completely opposite. I do what's called reverse pyramiding, okay? So essentially I will climb the pyramid up and do warm-up sets where I'm only doing somewhere usually between 1 and 6 reps. Every once in a while I'll do a warm-up set of 10, but usually it's between like 1 and 6 reps, okay? And then a lot of times I'll get to my top weight and do it for like a single real quick. Just be like, all right, like I'm pretty sure this is my top weight today. Let me touch it, let me see it, let me feel it, and then we'll go from there. And sometimes I go above it. Sometimes I'll touch that weight and be like, okay, like, hold on, we got to add some weight to this. Like this, I don't think this is our top set today. You know what I mean? And then every once in a while, I'll touch that top set and maybe just be like, you know what? Maybe let's drop 10% and lock in a little bit more because that, last week I only got this for 5. And like I'm trying to shoot for 6, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure if I'm not really connecting with it. Okay. And then once I hit that top set, then I'll go an all-out top set, essentially as close to failure as I can, or very close to failure. Okay. And then either do, if I'm like, let's say I got a set of 12 or 10, it's like, okay, I could probably rock with this weight again and still fall in that 8 to 12 rep range. So then I'd do another, working set or top set at that weight, or I could do a back off set where I'll drop the weight 10 to 20%, usually it's in that range, and also try to get between that 8 to 12, maybe a little over 12 rep range. So, and by then, if you're really, and this is the part where I think it takes experience too, because I think if it's your first week in the gym, and you're trying to only do 2 working sets, you definitely can, but you don't really know. And I'm not, put it this way, I've been there a couple times. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm Billy Badass here and I know what true failure is. But I definitely have had a plethora of sets over the last, over a decade of training where I have pushed it and gone for that next rep, and it's just literally, it's not there. You're doing everything you can. You're pushing or pulling as hard as you possibly can. And it's just literally not there. It's a cool feeling. It is, because you have literally just pushed your body to the point of just physical exhaustion for that set. Like your body just physically cannot pull or push that weight or whatever you're doing or get up with that weight. You just can't. So I try to get very close to that feeling, relatively frequently, but not so frequently to where I can't recover from it. Okay, and that's why I'm not doing 4 sets per exercise every single day that I go into the gym. I'd be annihilated if I did 4 sets close to failure or 2 failure of 5, 6, 7 different exercises, I'd be walking out of the gym feeling like I got hit by a freight train. You know, it's just the recovery just isn't there. So that 2 to 3 working set range for me. Sometimes 1. Sometimes I'll do 1. You know, if it's like I've already done my, like, you know, the bulk of my main work, and it's like, hey, you know what, I want to throw this in just to kind of connect with this part of my body, this part of this muscle group. Sometimes I'll just do 1. Not super uncommon for me, but regardless. Little rant there on why I do the 2 to 3 working sets. Drop how many working sets you guys do below in the comments. I'd be curious. Or if you got any further questions about why I do what I do, let me know. But regardless, I'm pulling into the gym. Top set of adductors. That's where we'll start. Coming at you right about now. As promised, we got our adductor work. Now, this is my second go at this voiceover because I did it once, and for some reason it did not save, so weird. But adductor here, we did 2 working sets. We did a top set here. What you're going to see is there will come a point where I start doing assisted reps. With a movement like an adductor, I would highly recommend it. It's a great exercise to utilize assisted reps because you can really get a ton out of the portion where your legs are, you know, spreading further and further apart. You're going to get a ton of stimulus from that portion as well when you're really controlling the opening portion of this movement. So again, you'll see here in just a second, there does come a point where I do use my hands to kind of close those last little gaps on a couple reps just to get a little bit more out of it. So I do that for both my top and back off set on adductors here. So we did 9 unassisted reps here, and then we did 3 assisted. And then the same concept in the back off set, lowered the weight by, I believe, somewhere between 10 and 20%, a little over, right about 10%, maybe a little over, and did, you know, as many reps as possible unassisted, and then somewhere between 3 and 5 assisted. I think at least 3 or 4, I know that. So anyways, then lying hamstring curls. That's lying hamstring curls. Now we are using a pretty fair amount of weight with this particular exercise here. We have the pad positioned at the lower portion of the calf muscle, and I've found, for me, being pretty long limbed, that having that pad kind of more central lower portion of the calf seems to be really comfortable on this exercise. Now, this is an exercise, guys, that lactic acid is going to build up quick, especially when you're using pretty heavy loads on the hamstring curl. So here is what I would recommend. This is absolutely an exercise where, you know, I don't want to say throw science out the window whatsoever, because your form and technique still needs to be really good, but I would keep going. So this is one where I do essentially kind of 2 rest pause sets, because I'll pick a top weight like I did here today, do it for 10 to 12 total reps, take very short little rest periods in between, and then do it again for a second set and try to keep it in between like 8 and 12 total reps as well. It is phenomenal. I've seen my hamstrings absolutely blow up, really pushing them to the limits with exercises like this. You can slow it down and lower the load. I've done it before. This seems to work really well for me though. Then we have really more of a stiff-legged deadlift. I have it logged in my logbook as an RDL, but to be honest with you, whenever I watch my training footage and just kind of the cues I'm using and how I do it, it's pretty stiff leg, man. I have a very slight bend, maybe a 15-degree bend in the leg here. Like it is really a slight bend in the knees. So what you'll see I'm doing here, and this is something that I would highly recommend, whether you're doing an RDL or a stiff-legged deadlift or you're using dumbbells or Smith machine or whatever, it doesn't matter. Any kind of hip hinge movement like this, I would highly recommend coming to a dead stop in the bottom, like right here. You'll see that I don't like touch the floor and bang the weights off the floor. I mean, you can't really hear it or see it, but I'm stopping a couple centimeters above the floor, essentially. If you watch like very closely on that, on my far left side, you can watch how like close the plates get to touching the floor. They get right to the edge of the floor, and then we, you know, kind of have that brief pause and then come back up. So we did, this is what, 295. So we did this for a top set of 10, felt really good. And then we dropped down to 245 and did that for a second set for 12 reps. So we did 2 working sets total with these. Again, I would argue, I think I'm gonna start logging them as stiff-legged deadlifts. So really deep stretch, really feel those hamstrings and glutes fire, particularly the hamstrings. Go from there. Then we have some Smith thrusts, I call them, Smith machine hip thrusts. The only thing that I had with this top set is my feet were too far forward. I've ran into this issue before. I feel like they're like in a good spot, and then I like look back at the footage, and also like I'm like in the midst of a set, and I'm a couple reps in, and I'm like, yeah, my feet are too far forward. And that's exactly what happened here. It was still like an okay set, but we definitely will not be going up in weight for, I would say, quite some time with this particular weight here. We got 5 plates, a 25 and a 10 on each side. We did this for a total set of 8 for our top set, but it was actually my back off set that I got the most out of this exercise. I feel like dropped down to 5 plates and a 10, and did that for 12. And I mean, I was like rocketing out of the hole in the bottom. So that felt really good, and and I got a nice good squeeze and hold with the glutes at the top. So it was a phenomenal exercise for sure, especially that second set. The top set was still good, but definitely had my feet a little bit too far forward there for sure. So kind of limited the range of motion a little more as I questioned my life decisions there for a moment. Then I did do 2 sets of single leg lying hamstring curls before this. I apologize, that was not recorded because I was kind of in a time crunch towards the end of my workout. So we do have some abductor work here. What I did is I was actually kind of playing with foot placement. Never going to do that again. So if you watch my heels closely, literally right there as I'm talking about it, I moved them back up, much more comfortable for me. I had them kind of tucked a little bit more in that little gap between the 2 different spots you can put your feet. Did not like that at all. So I moved them up and was driving my heels more into the, top or the furthest away foot placement there. So anyways, did a top set here for a total set of, set of 12. Definitely, again, stay at this weight so I can hit this for a straight set of 12 and also really open up those hips and knees a little bit further like that. Like if I can hit 12 like that, then we'll go up in weight. But for now, we're going to stay there. Then we dropped the weight and did a follow-up back off set there. Leg B session. Excuse me. Woo! Sneezing. Leg B session in the books. Phenomenal stuff, man. Phenomenal stuff. Oof. Connected really well with the hamstrings and glutes today. Freaking exhausted. It was a tiring workout for sure, but you know what? Tiring in the best of ways, of course. Tiring in the most productive of ways. Felt great. Hey, now I got nothing but good things to say, man. It was some great stuff. So I'm on my way home. Got to stop at this little market real quick, grab some agua. I think that's about it. And then heading home. Kind of just hanging out, man. It's me and the kid till 8:30, 8:45 tonight. We got a long time, me and the kid tonight. So my wife's got an event. She's going into work a little late today, and then is staying real late. So it's gonna be a long day, but a great day because I get to just hang out with my daughter all day. It's awesome. So go home, get my post-workout shake in, my only blended meal of the day, and then every 2 to 2.5 hours after that until 6 meals are up, we're eating. Simple as that, folks. So do your cardio. Don't forget about that. Do your freaking cardio. I do still have some body weight calf work today. I would normally do some weighted stuff, 3 times a week. I've already done 12 working sets of calves this week. So I'm just going to do some body weight stuff later on and then do my cardio while my daughter's taking her afternoon nap. And we'll go from there. So that's the only thing I did not have time to do this morning was direct calf work. Blasted the hamstrings and glutes. I apologize. I did not film my single leg lying hamstring curls. I know I talked about that in my voiceover, just as a reminder. If you didn't catch that. I did have 2 working sets in between that, 10 to 15 rep range of single leg lying hamstring curls before abductor. I was moving. I only had a few minutes to do a couple more. I had 2 more exercises I wanted to get done. So I just had to squeeze them in, shorter rest periods, or relatively short rest periods, and it was just kind of go. So anyways, yeah, man, great stuff. Tune in tomorrow. I will have a rest day vlog for you guys with a fresh new topic to chat about. May have the wife on, may not, we'll see. Got a nice long weekend. Hopefully y'all, if you are at least in the United States, I'm not sure if globally this is a celebrated thing. I don't believe it is, but maybe it is. At least if you are in the United States, hopefully you have a nice long weekend here. Maybe it starts today. Maybe it starts, tomorrow on Saturday. But hopefully you get a nice long weekend for Labor Day. And heck yeah, man. Crush your workouts today. Happy Friday. God bless. Make sure you like and share this video. Make sure you let your friends know that the Natty Teacher is back in session. Okay? Make sure you drop a comment with any questions or feedback that you got for me, and I will answer them for sure. I will for sure answer them. So, anywho, that's all I got. That's all I got for the day, man. So for today, I am the Natty teacher, and this episode of Road to Natty Pro, one step closer to the goal each day, man. We are blessed. But this episode's out. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.